Hi, this is Makhonas Pokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. Aspire to become a leader, not a boss, as a young man. Aspire to become a leader, not a boss, as a young man. This is part 2 of this great topic, and I hope you will learn out of this because it is very important that as a young man, you dream of becoming a leader. Great leaders have come and passed, and they are remembered because of who they were and because of the influence towards other people's lives. Remember, as a leader, you inspire people. And as you inspire people, people don't forget people that have inspired them. And leaders are remembered for that regard. But bosses cannot be remembered because bosses, as the word says, they are bossy, they are imposing, they are controlling, and therefore also they are not actually able also to inspire others because they are seen as the authority that controls people. Now, because of that, the bosses are seen in a bad light. They are seen actually in a way that cannot be acceptable to anybody because everybody knows that the boss's spirit will be there to undermine them. Now, leaders are aspired by other people. By people. They are actually desired by people. People want to follow a leader because a leader, as I said, inspires people. Now, what's the difference? The difference is that a boss tells people what to do. And I want to speak about this now, that don't tell people what to do. Don't live a life of commanding people, dictating people of what to do. Rather, a leader shows how to do things. Now, the difference between the two is this, that we know that a boss will actually dictate people, will tell people, will command people to do things while he is folding his arms and watching, while he is actually standing behind the back of the people and forcing them into hard labor and work. That's the boss. But you speak about a leader here who should be able to show people how to do. A leader is somebody who does the work themselves. But as they do so, they're actually mentoring others in what they are doing. They are teaching others every step of the way in what they are doing. So therefore, as a young man, I would love you to be able to aspire to become a leader. Because a leader is somebody who would actually teach the people on how to do things. Because when you teach people how to do things, people never forget. People never will forget you either because they learn from it and they use it in future for themselves. Now, as a young man, I want you to be aware that a boss will actually command people. A boss will be very, very impactful negatively impactful in the lives of the people, and it doesn't make people to be interested in what the boss is saying because they do that out of fear. Because a boss instills a fear to the people. Because of the command that they're commanding people to do things, they are instilling fear, and people do things purely because they're afraid of them. But guess what? When you are a leader and you are showing people how to do things, you are teaching them patiently, you are showing them every step of the way, people start respecting you as a leader, and people want to be inspired and follow you every step of the way. And this is very important, and I want to emphasize that as a young man, always desire to show people what to do. And by doing that, exactly every step of the way. Now remember that leaders believe in mentoring others. Leaders believe in developing other people. Now as a young man, it must be your prerogative to develop other people and make sure that you mentor people to a level where they've learned and become people of their own and independent and be able to actually to do things on their own. And people therefore will remember you by doing so. So I want to emphasize that it's very important that as you mentor people every step of the way, they are going to remember you. They are going to remember what you've taught them. They're going to remember every step of the way that you've done for them. And please, as a young man, please aspire to become a leader because leader is admirable and it's somebody that people want to stay around because you are teaching things by doing them yourself and showing people how to do it. Instead of bossing them around and pushing them to do things that you don't yourself do. Now, a boss criticizes and sits at the corner, criticizes while he has bossed you into doing something. He will criticize you when you make mistakes. He will be there with a red pen, guiding you to make mistakes and making sure that when you make the mistakes, they criticize how you've done. Now, a boss doesn't teach you, as we have said earlier. But while they don't teach you, but yet they criticize you when you don't do it right. And that is something that is not that is implorable about a leader, about a boss. Because a boss is imposing, is forcing people to do things, is not showing them how to do things, but yet when people make mistakes, he sits back and criticizes. Now, when we speak about the criticism that comes from a boss, it's a negative criticism that will destroy even the motivation of the person that they are criticizing. They will destroy, a boss will destroy you when they are actually criticizing you, because they criticize you by condemning you in what you're doing. They will even call you names while they are actually criticizing you. They'll call you stupid, they'll call you foolish, they'll call you dumb, and somebody who cannot do things, because they themselves want to be people that are looked up to as bosses and looked up to as in charge and the ultimate authority. And they forget that by doing so, they are destroying the people that are following them. Now, as a young man, I want to emphasize that please don't desire to become bossy that way. Don't desire to sit back and criticize people, but be able to teach people how to do things and not criticize. Because a leader, what it does, instead of criticizing, a leader will give an advice. In every situation that people are faced with, a leader will actually guide the people. A leader will advise and give tips to somebody in order to do that which you're doing in a better manner. When you are stuck in a situation and you're finding it difficult to find a way to come out of it, a leader will come there as a solution, not as a problem. A leader will come there not as to destroy you by criticizing you, but rather be there to give you an advice. Because a leader will step in to actually find a solution together with you. And now as a young man, I want you to look at it and say, I want to be a leader. I want to be a solution in the midst of problems. And I want to guide and teach people on how to solve things instead of becoming a problem by criticizing them and even confusing them. Aren't you aware that when you sit back and criticize people, you're confusing them even more, because you're clouding their minds and they're undermining themselves, and they're going to lose confidence that they're not even going to try tomorrow. And we've seen people that have been bullied into doing things and being criticized whenever they do mistakes, that they are afraid to try again, because you cannot try again where you know that you're going to be criticized when you make a mistake. Now, as a boss, you are criticizing people. You are destroying their confidence. You are destroying actually their motivation to continue going forward. But as a young man, I want you to rise up to become a leader who will be able to give advices along the way. When somebody's working at something, you are advising them every step of the way and guiding them on better ways to find a solution in their situations. You're not criticizing them, you are encouraging them. And therefore, as you do so, you encourage people to think out of the box and become better when you advise them. Because advices advance people into further progress. And advices actually gives people better ideas. And they can actually collate with what they think. When they've got an advice and when they implement an advice, they become actually successful in everything that they do. And therefore, I want you as a young man to aspire to become a leader, not a boss, because a boss will criticize at all times and kill off the confidence of the people. Instead, don't kill off the confidence of the people as a young man, but please advise the people on how to solve issues and how to deal with issues so that they can find solution in everything that they do. And this was part 2, of course, of this great topic. And your host, Michael Spokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and be part of this. We will deal with part 3 tomorrow. And I want to urge you to please like our Facebook pages, our social media pages, like them, and make sure also that you follow us on YouTube and like our YouTube channel and subscribe on it. And make sure that you click that notification button as well, that you're notified when there are videos going forward. And part 3, as it will follow, so you will be able to listen to that and follow it and be taught a great way of becoming a leader. May the good Lord bless you. Allow me to say cheers for now.